Welcome everybody back to the Fish Out of Water channel. I'm your host Isaac Kim, and I hope you guys are all having a great day. I'm recording this on Friday morning right now, so whatever day it is, I hope you guys are having a great day. So yeah, let's just get right into it. The Phoenix Suns get absolutely blown out at home for the second consecutive year in an elimination game and lose to a overweight, oversized European superstar. Um, Jokes aside, yeah, the Nuggets completely demolished the Phoenix Suns, um, winning by 25 points, 125 to 100. Um, so yeah, I think throughout the series, it's been very clear that the Suns or the Nuggets have been the better team. They have so much more versatility and they have different ways to different angles to attack the defense like Phoenix. They got a lot of depth. They got a lot of different dimensions, different type of personnel that keeps them sort of unpredictable. And at the heart of it all, of course, it's arguably the best player in the world to this day, Nikola Jokic. Man, he has been unstoppable this whole playoffs. I understand that he played the Timberwolves and the Suns, but you know, he's been getting to wherever he wants. He's been scoring. We think of Nikola Jokic as a passer, but he's also an incredible scorer. And with his hook shots, his floater, he just got to wherever he wanted to get to tonight. Something not necessarily new, but Phoenix had no answer for him. It didn't help that DeAndre Ayton wasn't playing. Not that it mattered much anyway, but you know, he probably had a better chance than Jock Landale. Theoretically, there are definitely some points in this series where, Jock Landale, who's an undrafted player, was just outplaying DeAndre Ayton just through his, sheer hustle and will. That's pretty discouraging for Phoenix. We'll discuss Phoenix in a bit here. I just wanted to give the Nuggets some praise. They've been frowned upon on. They've been kind of doubted on for a while, and they've had easily one of the most impressive playoff runs so far. And they have a lot of things that check off the box, check the boxes in terms of what a championship team is. They got scoring when it comes to really in the trenches basketball, rock fight basketball, when no one is scoring, everyone is up against the wall. It's very physical. Nikola Jokic can score in any environment, um, especially if it's DeAndre Ayton that he has to go up against. They have multiple point of attack defenders that can do a really good job, depending on the type of ball handler that they're going to go up against. So let's say if in the Western Conference Finals if they play the Lakers, Aaron Gordon is a great type of defender to put on LeBron. If you want like quicker guards, you got KCP, who's who's been very solid. He if for the Lakers, he can definitely do a pretty good job on D'Angelo Russell. If it's the Warriors, a lot of KCP, maybe Aaron Gordon on Clay. They just got a lot of variety. Bruce Brown's also very solid. Jeff Green gets the job done. They got a lot of I wouldn't say they got necessarily a lot of bodies, but each one of their players provides a different dimension offensively and defensively. I think that's something that the Nuggets really have, and it's something that's, been a strength. So congratulations to them. They're back in the Western Conference Finals. You know, I don't think anyone should have doubted how good this team is, how formidable this team is, especially when they're healthy. They've been kind of screwed over the past 2 years since the bubble because of injuries. Last year was Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray. The year before that, Jamal Murray tore his ACL. But it's good to see them back, fully healthy. This is a great team at their best. So, and honestly, like truly title contender. So let's see how they do in the Western Conference Finals. We'll find out if or who they play very soon because today's game 6 of the Lakers Warriors series. And yeah, nothing crazy to say about Denver. They've got it done. Like they have this whole postseason. Really no trouble. They haven't really faced much trouble. So congrats to them. They're back in the Western Conference Finals, and they're ready to prove people wrong once again. All right, so let's move on to the Phoenix Suns. Like this was something that everyone kind of knew, but they really lack depth. They lack in a lot of things. Obviously they got the two superstars, in Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, but if they're not hitting at a crazy rate, if they're not hitting jump shots, at an unsustainable level, if Devin Booker's not shooting like 80% from pull up three range, this team has no chance of winning. And that's something we kind of knew, but I think it's hard to predict because of how slow their sample size was going into the playoffs. But they beat up a injured Clippers team that really had no business being in there. But Phoenix, they got a lot of work to do this offseason. And it sucks for the fans to see them get absolutely blown out, once again in an elimination game for the second round for the second straight year. But you know, KD and Book give you a very high offensive ceiling, and that's something that almost no other team in the league has. Players of that caliber that are that good offensively, especially as off ball and on ball scorers. You know, the depth, they've just got to retool the roster. And I think it starts with, you know, Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton. They were practically, I don't want to say non-factors, but considering how much you're paying those two, you kind of have to be a little bit disappointed with the production that you've got, especially DeAndre Ayton. Spending a number one overall pick on him, going through all that drama, giving that extension, or after our matching that offer from the Pacers, like $133 million or something like that. It's kind of tough to see. And you got to retool the roster. There's so many players on this team that just aren't NBA level starters. Cam Payne, yeah, he had a great outing. In Game 6, he had 31 points, but he's not a realistic starter in the NBA. Landry Shamit's a very streaky shooter who doesn't offer that much on the defensive end. DeAndre Ayton is a starting level big, but against the best, your upside defensively is very limited. And if I go down the roster, TJ Warren, his best days are certainly behind him. Terrence Ross has been awful these whole playoffs. And Damian Lee. You don't feel great about Damian Lee. Biombo. This is a lot of things that the Suns need to figure out. And there's not much I could say in the X's O terms, X's and O's stuff, because I think it just goes down to personnel. Like they don't really have much going for them outside of KD and Book. If they don't hit, heroic and miraculous threes and have those miraculous performances, they have no chance of beating this team. So yeah, in the offseason, we can go into that later, but they really do need to retool that roster. It's been very obvious to me that the Denver Nuggets are the better team. They consistently got the better shots. They gave up the harder shots, and in a 7-game series, Denver was bound to win in this one. So yeah, not much to take away. I think it's just Denver executing very well, very locked in. And for Phoenix, it's really just their personnel that's been lacking, and there's not much you can go to when all you can rely on is Devin Booker and KD hitting some incredibly difficult shots. So yeah. Once again, congrats to the Denver Nuggets for moving on to the Western Conference Finals. First team to get out of the second round. So yeah, let's see how they do in the conference finals. They're certainly a formidable team. They are a a legit title contender. So let's see how they do in the next round. Phoenix, I'll touch on in a later video what they should do in the offseason. But, Phoenix Suns fans, don't be too upset. You guys still got incredible talent in these two guys. And that's a great tandem to build around. And those two are probably the two best offensive players on the same team. And like I said, I'll get into that later. But you guys have stuff to look forward to. You still have time to, the Suns have time to really turn this around. So, yeah, without further ado, That's all I had for Denver and Phoenix. I wanted to move on to the game before, which was much more exciting. The Boston Celtics ran away with game 6 at Philadelphia, winning 95 to 86, an absolute low scoring game. And that was an incredible display by the Celtics somehow winning that game. And I think it goes down to it being a make or miss league. This is what basketball is about. Yeah, you can pull out any scheme you want. You can defend at any high level, but it doesn't matter if you miss a shot. And on the other side of things, if you have like the craziest defensive scheme, it doesn't matter if they make the shot. Joe Mazzulla went to the Al Horford, Rob Williams starting lineup so that they can have rim protection behind Al Horford so that Embiid doesn't get to wherever he wants. To be honest, I still think Embiid had a lot of success getting into his sweet spot in the mid range and the high post area. That's just what he does. But in terms of um, like what the other guys could do, they were really getting stifled by Rob Williams' rim protection. And I think a lot of it comes down to them missing shots. You know what I was saying in the beginning of this segment here. Um, they put Rob Williams on PJ Tucker and basically conceded the three. And PJ Tucker went 2 for 7 from the corner three, and Boston won in that battle. So, and at the times there was DeAnthony Melton in the game. They were living with DeAnthony Melton threes, and in a percentage way, it's not a great idea. He's a very solid shooter. He missed. He went 0 for 4 when Rob Williams was on him. James Harden got to his spots, but he was missing a lot tonight, or a lot today. And Tyrese Maxey took the most shots on this team. And as good as Tyrese Maxey is, he's clearly like a couple steps below Embiid and Harden. So yeah, I think the Sixers need to adjust to Rob Williams. But to be honest, like I think it's just hitting those perimeter shots. And I think the Celtics are aware of, yeah, we're gonna give this corner three up to you, PJ. Are you gonna make it or not? We'll rather have reinforcement at the rim. And if you don't make it, we live. If you make it, we live with it. If you don't, that's how we lose. The Sixers, you know, they can go to Georges Niang, who's much better shooter than PJ is, but then you're losing that defensive, you know, versatility and the point of attack defense and that overall strength that PJ brings, and that kind of lowers your ceiling as a team. So yeah, it's interesting. I think Boston. I wouldn't even say they executed well. I just thought they made their shots compared to the Sixers. The Sixers were getting good looks and they couldn't make them. And, that's what it comes down to. And it's pretty disappointing because the Sixers haven't made the conference finals and the whole Joel Embiid era so far. It's been almost 10 years now. And they've still yet to make the conference finals. Now they got to go win in game 7 at Boston. It's only one game, so I'm not going to rule the Sixers out. But yeah, clearly a missed opportunity. It's pretty discouraging to see if you're a Sixers fan, but hey, you have another game to turn it around. Hopefully, them shots start falling in so that Rob Williams can pull out of the paint. It's a make or miss league, so that's how it works. And on the other end, wow, I'm one to really criticize bad performances, and I'm very critical of Jason Tatum. I've consistently talked about how overrated he is. I've consistently said that he is not a true 3-level scorer. He is not a number 1 option on a championship team. And for most of the game, he definitely proved that. He was very very off. He missed a lot of shots. He couldn't even beat Georges Niang in like a 1-on-1 situation, which was really hard to see. And when it mattered most, he hit some tough threes. Couple step backs in the left corner, one on Maxey on the right. Jason Tatum definitely saved his reputation with that performance towards the end, but he starts hitting those shots, and credit to him. He kept shooting. it was an incredibly bad shooting night from him. But to continue to keep shooting like that, despite how poorly the night was going for him, I give props to Jason Tatum. That's what stars do. And I've been really questioning him as a player for a long time now. But to do that after a really horrific shooting performance, it's very impressive. To make shots like that, you just don't see that often when players have when they go like 1 for 14 and they make 4 threes in a row to close the game out when no one can score. I give props to Jason Tatum, and you know, I still have my thoughts about Jason Tatum. I still not so sure about him being the number one option on the team, but you know, wait for him to step up and really, be the best player for his team by closing the game out. So yeah. Um Game 7 is gonna be interesting. I think it's just gonna go down to who really hits their shots. And you can make all the adjustments, like I said, but if you don't put the ball in the hoop, it doesn't really matter. And we'll see how it goes. I think it's gonna be close. I don't feel good about picking any side right now because I believe Joel Embiid is the best player, um, but he couldn't get it going in the fourth, late in the fourth when they really needed it. James Harden is so inconsistent, man. Sometimes he looks like that Rockets Harden, that prime Rockets Harden, and other times he puts up a 4 for 16 performance, going 0 for 6 and 5 turnovers. So yeah, I mean it's hard to say. I will go with Boston because they have home court advantage. It's very rare for a away team to win Game 7, and I think losing this game put Philadelphia. It really affected their team morale. Losing this opportunity to lose in front of your fans and close that game to go to the conference finals. That's a little rough there. And I expect some guys to play better. I expect Tobias Harris to play better. Um, you know, Embiid might be more aggressive, but yeah, we'll see. But I think the Celtics are gonna win this. A lot of it being because of home court advantage. Um, yeah, so those are what I thought about those two games. Real quick, I just want to talk about Miami Knicks and Lakers Warriors. The reason why I didn't want to film after game 5 was because I didn't feel like I learned really anything new. Lakers came out with a lackadaisical effort. And the Warriors actually beat them a lot in game 5 through pace and finally Steph getting some help. Jordan Poole actually did something. He didn't have a great game, but at least he got something from Jordan Poole. But most notably, Andrew Wiggins and Draymond, offensively, especially for both of them, really started to generate some offense. Steph was getting the whole Lakers bunched up on him. And finally, Draymond was being aggressive. Finally, Wiggins was hitting his shots. So, yeah, nothing, this is the thing with the Warriors. If they can get some help for Steph, they have a shot. And they haven't had much throughout the series, but game 5, a lot of their win was because of how Draymond and Andrew Wiggins was able to step up. So, yeah, now they forced to game 6. That's tonight. I think the Lakers are going to win this one. But, you just never know with this team. You never want to bet against Steph Curry until he's beat, you know, um, to me, the second best player in the world right now. But, or maybe even the best. We'll see by the end of the playoffs. But yeah, I think the Lakers are going to win this one. I think they're going to take care of business. It doesn't help for the Warriors that Andrew Wiggins is injured. He has like a fractured rib cage, which is really unfortunate with the Warriors situation. But I think he's going to try to play today. Respect to him for playing through that pain, but they're not in a good spot right now, the Warriors. So yeah. And with the Knicks Heat, Knicks. Well, first of all, heroic effort by Jalen Brunson. Played all 48 minutes. Quentin Grimes too played all 48 minutes. Um, and they got the win. Jalen Brunson had an incredible 38-point performance. Julius Randle finally got going a bit on offense. He didn't look like a guy who didn't know what he was doing out there. And yeah, the Heat almost came back down 20, but the Knicks pulled it off. Um, they forced a game 6 in Miami today. I also got the Heat winning. I just don't see that team coming this far and blowing a 3-1 lead to the New York Knicks. Especially at home, they got the best player, Jimmy Butler, of course. And yeah, so, you know, I think the Heat just got to turn up, and, send some more help towards Jalen Brunson. Um, he's had a great game, but to continue to attack him in isolation, and on the defensive end because of his size, just to wear him down, especially if he plays 48 minutes. So yeah, um, those are the two predictions I have for tonight. We'll see how it goes. Um, what incredible series once again with the Nuggets Suns finally closing. Celtics Sixers game 7. We all love to see it, and the conference finals are starting next week. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to cover still, and I'm really looking forward to it. Um, that's all I have for you guys today, and I just want to thank you guys for listening, and I hope you all have a great day. Really appreciate you guys for listening. If you guys want to help support the channel, please subscribe and please like the video. Comment if you really want to say something. All the support is very much appreciated. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening once again. The NBA playoffs are incredible. And really looking forward to what's coming next. So with that, I'll catch you guys later. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.